Coach B here with Crossroads Adaptive Seminar staff. I'm here with Coach Dave, and we're going to go over deadlifting for upper extremity athletes. Not a lot of things different from a normal able-bodied deadlift, but there's a couple things that we see consistently with upper extremity athletes when they're using a prosthetic to lift, and also some things that we see when they lift with one hand on a barbell. So we're going to go over the prosthetic lift first. For Coach Dave, he has an arm prosthetic that looks more rigid, but he prefers to lift with the strap because of the way that he can pull the bar back into himself. So go ahead and set yourself up with what you have there. He's still going to get into a good deadlift start position. You see his hips are a little bit lower than his shoulders. He's got a nice little triangular shape. He's going to drive the ground away and go ahead and push. Outstanding. And go ahead back down. Now, one thing I noticed a little bit on that lift, his shoulder was leaning a little bit forward on his weak side or his non-dominant side. So I'm going to tell him, hey, go ahead and pull that shoulder back and go ahead and pull. Outstanding. Go ahead back down. So we have to make sure we get that symmetrical engagement of our shoulders and don't let one hang down a little bit more. If you can't quite figure it out, think about a supinated deadlift or turning that hand over. When I do that, it automatically puts my shoulder into that position. So use your imagination, pretend you still have a hand, turn that over a little bit. It's going to help you row that bar back into yourself as well. Now when we get into single arm lifts, go ahead and take your strap off of that. There's a couple different ways that this can be done or set up as far as where your arm stays. We have our different preferences and we'll kind of go over it. But one thing that we both agree on and we harp on all the time is making sure that you stay as squared off as possible through the entire pull and don't lean over one side. So real quick, just show a bad setup. Don't actually pull it like that. So this is what you see more often than not, athletes trying to pull through this position, and go ahead and let go of the bar and show them where they sort of end up at the end of that when they do that. Either out and away from them, or on top of that, sometimes when they start far out in front here, they end up doing this twist at the end as well and just torquing up their back the entire time and trying to stay square instead of trying to stay squared off. So go ahead to your setup, one that you like. So you're going to have to play around if you don't have knurling or tape on your bar. I tape my bar so I know where it is and I don't have to try to find it. Now, Dave is nice and squared off. He likes to keep his arm to the side, sort of like when you do kettlebell snatches and stuff like that. Go ahead and pull. And he's going to stand and keep that bar in center. He's not going to try to pull that shoulder back or roll it back. He's going to try to stay as straight as possible and engage both sides of his hip as he's standing the bar up. Go ahead back down. And the way that I like to do this is I like to, if one arm is going to be down, I like to mimic with the other side. I'd like to keep as much symmetry as possible. So I set up like this and I keep this shoulder down the entire time and pull. Outstanding. Good. And back down. So that's it. A couple of tips and tricks to help you square away your deadlift and keep your back nice and safe.